Welcome to this new TOK webinar. My name is Irena Burton and I am one of the creators of Ideas Roadshow's IBDP Portal. During this webinar, I will show you how Ideas Roadshow's extensive and unique TOK resources can directly assist teachers and students succeed with the new TOK curriculum. Let's begin by highlighting two general points. First of all, we appreciate that transitioning to a new curriculum is never easy, but I think we all recognize that underneath the stress and effort of changing our habits to do things differently lie significant opportunities to improve the overall outcome. So before we plunge into the details of the new TOK curriculum, I'd like to encourage both new and experienced teachers to take a few moments to reflect upon why the IBO made the curriculum changes in the first place. A few months ago, we've held an online event to give our thoughts on the matter that you might find helpful. We'll send you a link to the recording in the follow-up email. Secondly, it's worth stressing at the outset that our extensive TOK resources are not designed to be a substitute for either the IB guide or new TOK textbooks, but rather provide an essential, example-driven complement to standard, top-down approaches that can best ensure students' and teacher success. So what do I mean exactly when I say that Ideas Roadshow's resources represent an essential, example-driven complement to standard, top-down approaches? What am I talking about here? Well, our pedagogical philosophy is all about harnessing the power of examples to drive student and teacher success. We're not saying that using concrete, real-world examples is the only way to teach a subject. And we're also not saying that all you need to do to successfully teach something is to show specific examples related to that topic. But rather our position is that the combination of theoretical description and real-world examples is the best way to tangibly increase student understanding and engagement with the subject at hand. So this is our general philosophy, but it's important to point out that when it comes to TOK, everyone realizes that the need for concrete examples is even more pronounced than usual. Teachers often express frustration at using the same old, tired cases over and over again. At the same time, students find the lack of specific, real-world instances of TOK a genuine impediment to understanding what TOK actually is and how it might be relevant well beyond the diploma program. As it happens, our many conversations with TOK teachers remarking on their need for a large bank of fresh, real-world TOK examples was a principal reason for us to create Ideas Roadshow's IBDP Portal to begin with. From an early stage, we recognized that our filmed conversations with more than 80 world-leading experts could be, with the right amount of time, effort, and editing, converted into precisely this tool that was so obviously needed by teachers and students alike. So that's the first point that I'd like you to bear in mind throughout this webinar. Ideas Roadshow's IBDP Portal is different from other resources because of our unique, example-driven approach that directly assists teachers and students by first examining specific situations and then recognizing the corresponding TOK aspects associated with them, rather than first looking at the theoretical concepts and then searching for corresponding examples. And that's what we mean by our approach being complementary to others. We're not saying that you can learn TOK solely through looking at a wide range of examples of its use in the real world. What we're saying is that it's only by combining a theoretical framework with a wide range of specific real-world instances that students will get a deep and genuine understanding of the core ideas underlying TOK. This way, students will be much better positioned for real success with both their TOK essay and exhibition. But there's a second point that flows from our unique approach which also bears mentioning here. As you all know, The IBO has repeatedly called for TOK to be integrated across the entire DP curriculum and not seen merely as an isolated course. But while almost everyone agrees in principle with this vision, the question of how, practically, to make it happen is often much more problematic. Since our example-driven approach naturally involves showcasing a wide range of instances across many different subject areas, it's ideally suited to doing what no other resource can, which is to explicitly demonstrate how TOK thinking permeates a vast range of different DP subject areas. Once again, as I'll describe shortly, we've gone to a great effort to capitalize on our unique approach by creating a wide range of specific, ready-made tools that both subject teachers and TOK teachers can use to easily and explicitly integrate TOK thinking right across the entire DP curriculum. Okay, now that you have a clear sense of the uniqueness of our approach, it's time to dive into the specifics of what we're offering. During the course of this presentation, I will show you 5 short videos, each of which describes a different aspect of our resources and how they can be used. I should mention here that the informational content in these videos are all excerpts from a comprehensive TOK teacher informational video found in the TOK teacher section on the portal, which can of course be accessed anytime by subscribers, so that you'll be able to refer back to this information to help you with your teaching and lesson planning once you have access. The first video is an overview of our TOK resources to give you a general sense of the scope of our extensive TOK materials in both video and print format, and how, specifically, these TOK resources have been updated to fit the requirements of the new TOK curriculum. This video is about 5.5 minutes long.
Welcome to this first of 5 videos detailing the many concrete ways that Ideas Roadshow's extensive TOK resources can directly support teachers with the new TOK curriculum, with first teaching in the fall of 2020. This first video will give you a brief overview of Ideas Roadshow's comprehensive resources and explain how they've been recently modified to be directly in line with the new TOK curriculum. The next 4 videos will detail how exactly our TOK resources can be used by both teachers and students. In the second video, we focus on how, in conjunction with our new TOK lesson planner, teachers can use our resources to teach the new core theme of knowledge and the knower. In the third video, we describe how our TOK lesson planner also supports teachers in teaching both the 5 optional themes and the 5 new streamlined AOKs. In the fourth video, we examine how our diverse array of TOK resources can be used by students to provide essential support for both their TOK essay and their upcoming TOK exhibition, while still supporting those who are doing a TOK presentation and a TOK essay according to the current TOK curriculum. Lastly, in the fifth video, we demonstrate how our resources provide a spectrum of concrete avenues for both TOK teachers and subject teachers to fully integrate TOK across the DP curriculum. Ideas Roadshow's IBDP Portal currently contains 327 TOK-related videos, 254 TOK clips, 30 TOK compilation videos, 21 TOK samplers, 16 TOK connection overview videos, and 6 TOK essay practice videos. The TOK clips, TOK compilation videos, TOK samplers, and TOK essay practice videos can all be found in the Theory of Knowledge section of the portal, while the 16 TOK connection overview videos are found in both the TOK teachers and subject teachers sections in the blue toolbar. The portal also contains a further 327 TOK-related print resources, 254 TOK clip PDFs, 30 TOK compilation PDFs, 21 TOK sampler PDFs, 21 TOK connection guides, and 1 TOK lesson planner. The PDFs associated with every TOK clip, compilation, and TOK sampler are presented on every resource page. Clicking on either the PDF or the video takes the viewer to our e-reader format, where the PDF is displayed in tandem with the video for easy classroom use. Alternatively, the PDFs can be downloaded directly from the resource page, while PDFs are also used to describe relevant TOK resources in both our TOK Connection Guides and TOK Lesson Planner. The TOK Lesson Planner is found in the TOK Teacher section of the portal, while all TOK Connection Guides are found in both the TOK Teacher and Subject Teacher sections. Every one of our extensive TOK resources has been comprehensively reformatted to fit the requirements of the new TOK curriculum, with first teaching in the fall of 2020. But during the transition period, we've also maintained access to all of the associated materials aligned with the older curriculum. Previously, all one-page PDFs associated with TOK clips and TOK compilations, highlighted in addition to standard features such as the name and affiliation of the expert, ebook reference, and duration of the clip, the related AOKs and WOKs, keywords, and 3 TOK concepts before presenting 3 associated knowledge questions related to the video in question. Updated PDFs, meanwhile, have eliminated the WOKs and mention of the 3 AOKs no longer formally recognized, while adding specific mention of the optional theme that the resource applies to, if relevant. Meanwhile, the keywords and 3 TOK concepts have been replaced by an itemization of the 4 key aspects of the new knowledge framework: scope, perspectives, methods and tools, and ethics, related to each clip or compilation, typically in the form of a knowledge question. We've also highlighted related IA prompts for every resource to help students in searching for topics for their TOK exhibition, along with an itemization of related Ideas Roadshow resources. The 3 sample knowledge questions are presented as before, complete with the citing instructions to assist students with their TOK essay or exhibition. The 2 one-page PDFs have been combined into a 2-pager for every TOK clip and compilation, with the new version presented first. Teachers and students interested in accessing the older version can simply scroll down in the e-reader or download the PDF and focus on the second page. Meanwhile, our TOK sampler videos now indicate both the older and newer classifications before each clip. The one-page PDFs associated with each TOK sampler list the expert, affiliation, and ebook reference for each short segment and are thus unchanged by the new curriculum. Once the older version of the curriculum is no longer being taught, all references to the older categorization schemes will be eliminated. In what follows, unless explicitly stated otherwise, our focus is on assisting teachers and students with the new TOK curriculum.
Hopefully this overview video gave you a deeper appreciation of what I was saying earlier about the vast supply of concrete, real-world examples of TOK in action contained in our resources. As you saw, in addition to many other videos I'll talk about later, such as the TOK essay practice videos, TOK samplers, and TOK connections overview videos, our TOK resources include over 250 video clips and 30 separate compilations. Every TOK clip and compilation comes with its own matching PDF, with 3 associated knowledge questions and separate descriptions of how that particular resource relates to each of the 4 aspects of the new knowledge framework: scope, perspectives, methods and tools, and ethics. This is a concrete illustration of what I was saying earlier about our unique, example-driven approach. You start with a specific video focused on a particular issue or concept, such as the neuroplasticity clip with neuroscientist Jennifer Groh highlighted a few moments ago. And then, after having played the video in class or online, students will be naturally primed to explore the corresponding TOK concepts associated with that resource, such as the 4 aspects of the new knowledge framework, or specific knowledge questions directly associated with that particular video. There is, however, a potential downside to having such an extensive collection of TOK resources. With so many examples of TOK in action available on the portal, how can we ensure that teachers can easily find an appropriate resource to meet their needs? Well, that's where our comprehensive TOK lesson planner comes in. A tailor-made guide to not only help teachers find what they're looking for, but also to provide a wide range of concrete suggestions to help plan their TOK courses using our innovative content. In the next video, we describe the general structure of our TOK lesson planner before moving on to giving a detailed description of how the lesson planner can help you with the teaching of the new core theme of knowledge and the knower. This video is a little less than 8 minutes long.
While we're very proud of the extensive breadth and depth of our TOK resources, we recognize all too well that it's hardly sufficient to simply present teachers with hundreds of different options. It's essential to provide a range of practical suggestions and recommendations for how those resources can be directly used for teaching TOK, particularly in the climate where teachers are anxious to familiarize themselves with the nuances of a new curriculum and develop a range of concrete pedagogical strategies to implement it. With this in mind, then, we've created our TOK Lesson Planner, a detailed, practical guide to using our comprehensive TOK resources for both in-class and online teaching of the new TOK curriculum. Let me take a few moments to walk you through our TOK Lesson Planner in detail so that you can understand what I mean. The first thing to say is that there are two slightly different versions of the lesson planner, one with just descriptions of the associated teaching strategies, we call that one abridged, as it doesn't contain the associated PDFs, and the other version that we call complete, where those strategies are explicitly linked to those descriptive PDFs I was talking about earlier. The complete version with the PDFs is therefore a bigger file, about 8 megabytes and 343 pages, as opposed to the abridged version of 1 megabyte and 32 pages. But as it contains all those PDFs I mentioned, it can be very useful to help you plan things out in detail, as you'll shortly see. The complete version with PDFs is available for download in the TOK Teacher section of the portal, while the abridged version is presented on the resource page associated with the TOK informational video and can be flipped through while watching that video on our e-reader. In what follows, I'll use the complete version so that you can get a quick sense of how these one-page PDFs can be directly used to both plan and implement your lessons. Let's start with a few technical details. When you download the lesson planner and open it, it might look a little different to you depending on which software you have to read PDFs. If you use Adobe Acrobat, which I would recommend and which can be freely downloaded from the internet, it'll look like this, with a bookmark panel on the left-hand side describing the contents. A quick glance at the bookmark panel reveals that the lesson planner consists of 4 main sections: an introduction, the core theme, knowledge and the knower, the 5 optional themes, and the 5 areas of knowledge. All of the headings, aside from the introduction, can be expanded into subheadings. All 5 areas of knowledge are listed separately, as well as all 5 optional themes. Meanwhile, the core theme, knowledge and the knower, is divided further into 3 subsections. I'll talk about that shortly. Clicking on any of the main headings or subheadings takes you directly to the corresponding pages of the lesson planner. Now, supposing you don't use Adobe Acrobat and find yourself viewing the lesson planner with a different type of software that doesn't support these bookmarks. Well, that's fine too, because we've provided you with a clickable table of contents on the second page with the same division of categories as I just mentioned, where each of the sections and subsections is accessible directly through clickable links on the table of contents. Okay, so much for the form. Now let's talk about the actual content of the lesson planner. As you might expect, the introduction gives a brief overview of the material, much like I'm doing right now, so there's no point in saying much more about that. Let's instead move on to the core theme of knowledge and the knower. In the IBO's Theory of Knowledge Guide, it's clearly stated, in a natural tip of the hat to the overall mandate and orientation of TOK, that there are many possible ways to approach and structure the core theme in the classroom. Accordingly, they give a variety of examples of possible discussion points for students and teachers to focus on, along with a spectrum of different ways that the core theme can be integrated in the design of the course, from bookending matters with initial and final segments of the core theme, to fleshing out the core theme midway through the course, to imposing a different meta-framework around a further set of themes and concepts where the core theme, optional themes, and AOKs are regularly examined throughout each conceptual unit. But while it's well understood that there's no one-set TOK course design, it's consistently emphasized that the subject of knowledge must be conspicuously placed at the center of TOK, and the core theme in particular, and that the 4 key elements of the new knowledge framework, scope, perspectives, methods and tools, and ethics, need to be regularly engaged with throughout. With that in mind, then, this lesson planner offers 3 specific sub-themes for the core theme of knowledge in the knower that teachers might wish to consider: developing knowledge, evaluating knowledge, and transmitting knowledge. Developing knowledge generally examines how we build understanding of the world around us. Evaluating knowledge highlights the challenges inherent in our attempts to verify and apply new knowledge to our environment, while transmitting knowledge focuses on how knowledge is conveyed, and often misconveyed to us, from a variety of different sources. Each of these sub-themes offers a wealth of associated Ideas Roadshow resources, and each is presented in strict correspondence with the 4 key elements of the curriculum: scope, perspectives, methods and tools, and ethics. Let's take a concrete example now so that you can see all this in action. Suppose I'm looking through the first sub-theme, developing knowledge, and my attention is caught by the clip Optimism Confirmed, referenced in the Perspective section, as one of the resources that specifically addresses to what extent our personal characters influence both our motivation and ability to build knowledge. Clicking on the italicized link of this resource takes me to the corresponding PDF, where I'm told that the expert involved is renowned anthropologist Frans de Waal, who is a professor at Emory University, that the clip is 3 minutes and 4 seconds long, that the corresponding reference to this clip in the accompanying Ideas Roadshow ebook is pages 46 to 47 of Chapter 7a, that this clip is separately referenced in the TOK Connections Guide for both biology and social and cultural anthropology, and that the relevant AOKs pertaining to this resource are the human sciences and natural sciences. Then I'm provided with a brief, high-level summary of the clip's contents, as well as related aspects of each of the 4 key elements: scope, perspectives, methods and tools, and ethics, typically expressed as knowledge questions. Underneath that, I see a listing of the IA prompts that correspond directly to this clip, along with some additional Ideas Roadshow resources that are related to the concepts discussed in this clip. Underneath that are 3 additional knowledge questions associated with this resource for further class discussion and reflection. Finally, citing details are provided to assist students who wish to reference this clip for their TOK essay or exhibition. It's important to stress that this same comprehensive format for the accompanying one-page PDFs is applied to every one of the 254 TOK clips and 30 TOK compilation videos that make up our resources.
I hope you now have a clear sense of how our TOK lesson planner can directly assist teachers with preparing and implementing their lesson plans for the core theme of knowledge and the knower of the new TOK curriculum. I'd like to emphasize here that the 3 suggested sub-themes for the core theme, developing knowledge, evaluating knowledge, and transmitting knowledge, are in no way meant to represent a necessary structure for every teacher to adopt. As we all appreciate, teachers have a great deal of flexibility in how they wish to present TOK content in their courses. Given the large number of TOK resources we offer, it seemed appropriate to provide teachers with some specific suggestions to present material in a thematic, coherent way. While some teachers might opt to frame their lesson in this way for at least some of the time, we fully expect that others will mix and match content from the different sub-themes according to their needs and inclinations. At the same time, there will also be teachers who might choose to go straight to the comprehensive search function on our portal, with specific details about how best to do that presented in the TOK teacher informational video that I mentioned earlier. Okay, let's move on now to the 5 optional themes and the 5 newly streamlined AOKs. I will now show you our third video that describes how our TOK lesson planner can be used to help plan and implement your lessons corresponding to both the optional themes and the 5 newly streamlined AOKs. It's a bit less than 6 minutes long.
Now that you know how to find the TOK resources you're interested in on our portal, let's return to the TOK lesson planner and briefly discuss the optional themes and AOKs. As you can see, all 5 optional themes are specified in the lesson planner, and each one can be directly accessed either through the bookmarks or clickable table of contents. Each optional theme is 2 pages long. After a brief introduction, we highlight concrete links between that theme and the core theme of Knowledge and the Knower, again in terms of the 4 key elements of scope, perspectives, methods and tools, and ethics. Connecting both optional themes and AOKs to the core theme is repeatedly stressed throughout the IBO's Theory of Knowledge Guide and is clearly viewed as an important method of providing intellectual coherence throughout the curriculum. So we felt that it was worth making a special effort to illustrate such overlaps. Following that, we provide a listing of Ideas Roadshow resources relevant to the optional theme in question, once again grouped according to scope, perspectives, methods and tools, and ethics. This same format of introduction, connecting the optional theme to the core theme, and presentation of Ideas Roadshow resources relevant to the optional theme in terms of the 4 key elements of the curriculum occurs for every one of the 5 optional themes: knowledge and technology, knowledge and language, knowledge and politics, knowledge and religion, and knowledge and indigenous societies. Just as you've seen before, every itemized resource is linked in the guide to its corresponding PDF to allow teachers to quickly gauge its suitability. But now, however, there's one small additional feature that I'd like to mention. Suppose I'm interested in more details about the clip Signing as Language, referenced in the Ethics section of Knowledge and Language. Clicking on the link takes me to that same type of PDF as we discussed before, but now note that underneath the mention of associated areas of knowledge, there's also an explicit mention of the corresponding optional theme, in this case, knowledge and language. This is not only handy to have for reference on the PDF, it will also prove relevant shortly when we talk about searching directly on the portal for all resources associated with a given optional theme. Let's now turn to the AOKs. Just as for the optional themes, all 5 areas of knowledge are listed separately in the lesson planner in the AOK section, and each one can be directly accessed either through the PDF bookmarks or clickable table of contents. Each area of knowledge listed in the lesson planner is 3 pages long and structured similarly to the optional themes, but with a small difference. This time, after the brief introduction, there's a section illustrating specific Ideas Roadshow material that can be used to compare and connect that AOK to others. Another fundamental TOK concept whose importance is explicitly highlighted in the IBO's Theory of Knowledge Guide. Following that section, we present, as before, some suggestions for Ideas Roadshow resources associated with that particular AOK, once again in terms of the 4 key elements of the curriculum: scope, perspectives, methods and tools, and ethics. And then on the 3rd page, we highlight specific resources that can serve to connect that AOK to the core theme. Once again, the same format of an introduction, comparing and connecting that AOK to others, presenting a spectrum of particular AOK-specific resources in terms of the 4 key elements of the curriculum, and connecting that AOK to the core theme is repeated for all 5 of the AOKs: history, human sciences, natural sciences, the arts, and mathematics. As I hope you can see by now, our TOK lesson planner contains an abundance of specific curriculum-related teaching strategies to directly support teachers no matter how they elect to structure their new TOK courses. But it's worth emphasizing that the numerous suggestions contained in the lesson planner are just that, suggestions. For space reasons, far from every one of our TOK resources has been explicitly included in our recommended teaching strategies, and some teachers will doubtless want to avail themselves of the full selection as they plan their courses. For those who are interested in doing just that, the best way of proceeding is to move straight to the TOK section of our portal and capitalize on our comprehensive search function. Each of the optional themes has a special search key associated with it, as do each of the AOKs. Looking to find all resources available for knowledge and politics? Just type in KP and hit return. Searching for history resources? Simply search by AOK History. Search terms can also be combined to further narrow things down so that you can search for all resources that correspond to both the natural sciences and knowledge and language, say, simultaneously. Before we move on to discussing how our resources can specifically assist students with their TOK essay and exhibition, as well as facilitating the integration of TOK right across the DP curriculum, it's worth mentioning that students and teachers who are interested in searching through our resources according to keywords associated with a former curriculum to assist with a TOK essay or presentation, such as the WOKs or the 3 additional AOKs, can still use the corresponding keywords associated to reveal all our resources appropriate to those areas. Well, once again, it bears mentioning that until the spring of 2021, all TOK PDFs will be presented on the portal in a 2-page format, with the first explicitly referencing the new curriculum and the second referencing the old.
I hope you now have a good sense of how our TOK lesson planner can directly assist teachers with preparing and implementing their lesson plans, related to both the optional themes and the 5 newly streamlined AOKs. Many teachers have told me already that our TOK lesson planner is not only helpful to develop lesson plans for the new optional themes, but also quite useful for teachers in helping them decide which optional themes they want to teach in the first place. Once again, as you all know very well, deciding on what and how to teach something typically comes down to how many concrete examples you have at your disposal to use in your classroom. You might, for instance, think that knowledge and politics is an interesting and important theme to explore in principle, but if you don't feel that you have a ready supply of appropriate materials to use in class to highlight the related TOK concepts, you'll naturally steer away from it. By providing a quick and easy way of enabling teachers to gauge what specific resources are available to help teach one of the optional themes, the thinking is that our lesson planner will not only assist those who have already decided on which themes to teach, it will also help those who haven't yet made up their minds make a better informed judgment on how to proceed. Okay, now let's change gears and concentrate on improving student performance, naturally focusing on the TOK essay and the new TOK exhibition. Another way that our resources are unique is that they are simultaneously geared to teachers and students, providing a wealth of tailor-made resources to assist teachers with planning and implementing their lessons, as we've seen, but also directly supporting students with their TOK essay and exhibition. So now I will show you our 4th video that describes the many ways our comprehensive TOK resources are designed to explicitly support students. It's a bit less than 3.5 minutes long.
Ideas Roadshow's TOK resources are designed to explicitly help students with their TOK essay in 3 main ways. First, we offer 6 detailed TOK essay practice videos based on each one of the May 2020 prescribed titles. Each video is between 25 and 40 minutes long and features a careful analysis of the title with specific recommendations for how to build a successful essay, complete with a wealth of illustrative examples from our TOK resources to highlight the main topics under discussion. Secondly, shortly after the new prescribed titles are released, our Investigating Knowledge blog gives an analysis of each one as part of our TOK Tuesdays feature, often referencing related specific Ideas Roadshow resources and themes previously discussed. And lastly, as you've already seen from earlier in this video, the PDF associated with every Ideas Roadshow resource contains explicit citing instructions to directly assist students in referencing our materials for their TOK essays. Meanwhile, our TOK resources are designed to support students with their TOK exhibitions in 2 distinct ways. First, Our 21 broad and interdisciplinary TOK samplers are a great way for students to expose themselves to a wide variety of real-life TOK ideas and concepts that might pique interest in a number of specific directions for their TOK exhibition. In particular, those students who have expressed a preference for orienting their exhibition towards a particular optional theme are recommended to watch the TOK sampler associated with that theme, while those keen on basing their exhibition on the core theme are particularly encouraged to watch some of the 11 general TOK samplers that you see here, that is, those not focusing on either a particular AOK or particular optional theme. Secondly, as seen earlier, the PDFs associated with all TOK clips and compilations display the relevant IA prompts associated with that resource. Students who have a clear sense of which IA prompt they wish to base their exhibition on are encouraged to search our TOK resources by IA prompt by simply entering IA followed by the number of the prompt in the search function. Search values can be combined by using the words and or, easily enabling, say, a search of our TOK resources that combines IA prompt 19 and knowledge and politics by simply entering IA 19 and KP into the search window and pressing enter, or searching for resources that highlight either IA prompt 7, 14, and 35, say. Explicit links to the 6 TOK essay practice videos and all 21 TOK connections guides are found in the Student TOK section of the portal, along with the detailed Student TOK informational video that describes how our resources can assist students with their TOK essay, TOK exhibition, and general TOK understanding. Teachers at schools with institutional subscriptions to Ideas Roadshow are strongly recommended to encourage their students to watch this video at the outset of the TOK course to help them get the most value out of our TOK resources.
I hope you now have a clear sense of how our comprehensive TOK resources can directly assist students with their TOK essay, exhibition, and general TOK understanding. The final topic I'd like to discuss is that of TOK integration. As I said at the outset, our innovative, example-driven approach to TOK not only directly enables student and teacher success in TOK, it's also uniquely valuable as an effective way of explicitly and easily integrating TOK right across the DP curriculum. Now we're ready for our 5th and final video that details how our resources uniquely enable integration of TOK thinking right across the DP curriculum. It's a bit more than 5 minutes long.
Earlier in this video, when we showed that the final question for discussion of the curriculum-related resources was always a knowledge question, we illustrated one small subtle way that Ideas Roadshow directly supports the goal of integrating TOK thinking across the curriculum, but there are also 2 distinctly more concrete ways of achieving this valuable objective. The importance of integrating TOK across the DP curriculum has been consistently reinforced by the IBO, and has thus long been a principal concern for DP coordinators throughout the global IBDP community. But while the goal is clear, the specific means for how to achieve it are often much less obvious. Although workshops and events can certainly help raise broader awareness of the value of TOK, what subject teachers most need to practically implement this vision is access to a large bank of directly relevant TOK-related examples that they can quickly and easily use in their classes, which is precisely where our extensive collection of TOK connection overview videos and TOK connections guides come in. Each of the 21 DP subjects we cover has its own detailed TOK connections guide, providing a wealth of directly relevant TOK-related examples that can be used at a timely moment in the course. You may recall that the TOK connections guides were briefly referred to earlier when we mentioned the Connecting With line on the TOK PDFs that highlight which TOK connection guides that particular resource is contained in. Let's take a moment to explore how that works in a bit more detail. Just like for the TOK lesson planner, each TOK connections guide features a wealth of concrete teaching strategies related to our resources. But this time, for how to expose students to a wide variety of TOK-related concepts associated with that particular DP subject. And just as before, every resource mentioned is linked to its corresponding TOK PDF to help teachers gauge its suitability and relevance for their classes. Suppose, for example, that I'm teaching mathematics and looking for ways that I can increase the motivation of my students while simultaneously introducing some TOK-related concepts. Flipping through the TOK Connections Guide for Mathematics reveals two different instances of how statistical methods can be used to increase our knowledge about a number of important real-world issues, from disproving a link between childhood vaccines and autism to providing evidence for effective anti-suicide policies. As before, clicking on the corresponding link in the guide takes me to a PDF which enables me to present the students with the mathematical issues naturally embedded in the corresponding theory of knowledge vocabulary. Perhaps I'm teaching history and keen to inspire my students with concrete examples of the benefits of knowing the past. Flipping through the TOK Connections Guide to History, my attention is naturally drawn to the section How Knowledge of the Past Impacts the Present. Clicking on the link to the clip Pointing to the Past with award-winning author Pankaj Mishra presents me with an intriguing summary of his directly appropriate insights, once again couched in an explicitly TOK-relevant language. As you can see, these TOK connection guides are quite comprehensive, providing a spectrum of tangible opportunities for subject teachers to easily introduce relevant TOK-related notions directly in their courses. But we also appreciate that such comprehensiveness can backfire, offering teachers a long list of possible options to evaluate that they might not have time for, sometimes resulting in no concrete examples of TOK integration being shown in their classes at all. Which is why, in addition to our detailed TOK connections guides, we've also created 16 different TOK connection overview videos explicitly designed for subject teachers to play directly in class. Each video is only 10 to 15 minutes long and highlights 6 revealing examples of TOK thinking in that subject. Lastly, on Connecting Thursdays, our blog, Investigating Knowledge, dips into our comprehensive array of resources to highlight specific examples of TOK thinking in action across the entire DP curriculum, tangibly illustrating the many ways that theory of knowledge manifests itself in the world of frontline research and scholarship across a wide array of different fields. Many subject teachers find these compact blog pieces, with accompanying Ideas Roadshow resources, useful occasions to quickly and efficiently point out specific TOK overlaps to their courses. This concludes our presentation of how Ideas Roadshow directly assists teachers and students throughout all aspects of the new Theory of Knowledge course. We're very proud of what we've developed, and we're certain that our resources will play an integral role in supporting your transition to the new TOK curriculum.
I hope you now have a much clearer understanding of how Ideas Roadshow's innovative example-driven approach can directly assist teachers and students in achieving great success with the new TOK curriculum while explicitly integrating TOK throughout the entire diploma program. I'll conclude this webinar by discussing subscription options and pricing. We offer 2 types of subscriptions to our database, both of which provide full access to all of our resources. Individual teacher subscriptions are priced at $200 per year and can be directly purchased from our website, where you signed up for this webinar. Meanwhile, we also offer institutional subscriptions for school-wide access. This way, all students and teachers in your school will have unlimited access to our TOK resources, and your subject teachers will have direct access to our TOK integration materials, as I've described in this webinar. Your school will also have access to our extensive range of resources for the extended essay and motivational and curriculum-aligned resources for 21 DP subjects that are part of Ideas Roadshow's IBDP Portal, which were, of course, not covered in this webinar. We offer free private webinars to any school contemplating an institutional subscription. You can contact me directly or introduce me to your DP coordinator or librarian if you think they might be interested in investigating an institutional subscription for your school. Our policy is to refund the full price of an individual subscription to any teacher whose school purchases an institutional subscription within 6 months of the start of their subscription. This is the end of our new TOK webinar, and I'd like to thank you very much for participating. Goodbye.